let's say you have a bill that comes out and it's $300, and you know what I mean? That's going to take the
Right.
majority left of what you have.
Uh-huh.
I understand, like, it's challenging for people to be like in a place of that abundance when physically you're like, I can't just say, oh, I have the money and I'm abundant. You know what I mean?
Right.
So what they're explaining is focusing. So instead of on the bill, focusing on just like the monetary side of what you're seeing, focus on what you're gaining from that, right? Did that bill bring you heat and you're picturing your family in a comfortable house, right? And
Okay.
everybody was like able to sleep with heat and everybody has a roof over their head. Picture all of the workers that work at that plant that are busy working around the clock to make sure you have that heat for your house. Picture the people that paved the road
Mm-hmm.
years ago for people to be able to even have something like heat in their house. All the work that they did, showing gratitude for them. So it's all about shifting your focus and pivoting from this $300 that you don't have for that bill to all of the things that when you are able to pay that bill and have been able to pay that bill in the past, all of the things that you've been able to enjoy and all of the people involved along the process to be
Mm-hmm.
able to make that happen for you. So it's just about pivoting. So even if you physically don't have the money in that moment, it's
Mm-hmm.
really like focusing on the enjoyment side of things instead of the lack side of things.
So, okay. So I understand our reality is a manifestation of our thoughts.
Mhm.
So if because what you're saying, show gratitude for that. So what I try to do is like, okay, oh, I have this bill. Oh, I forgot. Now I don't have the money. So what I try to do is say, oh, shoot, I got this bill. Okay, well, thank God I even have the lights on, or like what you're saying, right?
Thank you for the
So
bill.
yeah, yeah.
Thank you for the bill. I'm appreciative for the bill because it allows me, it has allowed me, it's going to keep allowing me. The money may not be there yet, but it's going to come. The money's on its way. It always shows up for me. Everything always works out. I always have lights. I always have heat, right?
Right.
My
So,
family always lives in abundance. It'll figure itself out. It's coming.
and then it
Everything's
comes.
perfect. See, you feel the lightness of that? You're
Yeah.
living in a place of flow. Do you hear just even how that flow of 30 seconds builds momentum on more feeling of ease? It's living in the feeling of ease instead of living in the feeling of resistance. Because does it feel good when it's like, ugh, I don't have the money for that. Where am I going to get the
Yeah.
money for that? I can't pay that.
Yeah.
If I pay this, it means I can't pay that. If I don't pay that, I'm going to lose the house. If I lose the house,
Right. It's a snowball effect. And so what I try to do is, like stay positive about the idea. Get off. The idea, my dog. She thinks she's a lap dog. Look how big she is. To stay focused in the, oh, it's okay. It's coming. It's there. It's in my account already.
there's
I
a
just need to
difference
access that account.
there's a difference between positive with our words
Okay.
and positive with
Here.
our love, with our feeling. You can say,
It's
oh
all
yeah,
about
you can
feelings,
say
right?
all of the right words, but if you're vibrating, if you truly believe at a deeper level that you're scared and you're fearful, doesn't matter what words are coming out at that point, because you're giving, it's the vibe, it's how you feel. So that's
Right.
what
Okay.
Abraham Hicks, you'll always hear them say, it doesn't have to be a big jump from
Right.
this feeling to that feeling. Just find a better feeling, one that's better than the anxiety. As long as it's a little bit better, and then it can be a little bit better, and then a little bit better, you'll build the momentum. Just always look for the better feeling thought.
Yeah, because I remember when I told you guys that I manifested that that money right before I bought my machine, or right after I bought my machine. Anyways, I could literally like feel that. So like, I'm trying to remember, okay, what was the process that you went through that to be able to manifest that? And I'm like, and there, I think no, I don't think, I know there's like this other side that says, is this ever gonna happen?
Like something just came through for
And
me
so I
when you
try
were
to
talking.
shift that. Huh?
Something just came through for me when you were talking.
Okay.
Instead of focusing so much on, I want this car, I want this much money, I want whatever it is, instead of jumping straight to the end goal, allow yourself to get lost in the moment and the feeling of what the in-between looks like. The getting it, the attracting it, the enjoying it, the reveling in the joy of what that actual thing feels like. Right?
Uh-huh.
So I know you hear people talk about
sounds like,
smells like, tastes like.
The energy of it, having the excitement. It's like, I got it right here. It's in my hands. Look at this. Look at this.
I try that. Excuse me. I feel like I'm doing that. I think I'm doing that because I do listen and I hear what you guys are saying. I'm like, okay, they said to do that. Like what you just said, feel the in-between process. What does that feel like? And visualize that in-between process to the end result. I'm a work in progress, I think. I'm just going to keep on.
You got to use your visualization too, right? Like you really got to visualize.
Yeah.
And the thing is with it is it's all the little things. Like all the little things, put yourself in that feeling of what it'll be. If you're like me and you're moving, or if you're like looking to do something different, think about everything. Before I even moved to Kelowna, I envisioned where I was going to live, what it was going to look like, everything. I didn't even see the apartment I signed, and it was exactly what I wanted. So everything that you start, it's little things, like Ashley was saying, the tasting, the smelling, the seeing, but little things. I'm going to wake up this morning and it's going to be sunny and I'm going to feel the sun, and just the little things like that all add up.
You know, a thought just came to me right now. Years and years ago, before I moved, I've been living here for about, 15 to 18 years. I don't know. But before I moved here, I would always envision a U-Haul truck and me moving. And I could literally
get an RV with me.
Feel it. You know what? That's on my goal list. That's on my goal list too. I already told my kids, when I get where I'm going, I'm getting an RV and I'm hitting the road and I'm traveling to meet all my friends and family on Facebook. They're like, Mom, stop. I'm like, no, I am. That's my goal. But yeah, so it's like, and then it happened. It didn't happen. It took like 3 or 4 years, but it happened because I felt it. I need to remember that, like you're saying, feel, taste, hear.
Just be patient with yourself, right? It is a process. We're physical beings. So we're trying to unwind and unlearn all of the belief systems, right? Like we are teaching ourselves to believe in something we can't see. In the beginning, that can be hard for our mind to get wrapped around. So if we're trying to force a thought, a visualization, or force a feeling from the mind versus experiencing it in the heart space, it takes time to practice that, right?
Right.
We're rewiring our belief system, literally. It's right down to the belief system of actually believing that the energy is real and believing that you are that powerful and believing that once you're in alignment, right, with the process, then it happens. Then it's real. Then it starts working. But it's really, if I can leave you with anything, it's really dropping into here. Right. If you feel a lot of activity in your head, it's coming from the brain, right? You should feel that warm joy from in here. It should be a body experience, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
That's so true. That's so true. And happiness. This is another thing, guys, that's really, really key, especially a lot of you guys here watching this are in the business, right? It's
Right.
easy to get sidetracked. It's easy to fall into so many different like rabbit holes and mazes along this journey. So it's really important to be true to you. You know, like if reading isn't beneficial to you, don't read. Go journal, go meditate. Do what feels good for you. And you're like Ashley said, you're going to know. Like if certain things come up and it's like it's queasy, there's something's not right with it, pay attention to that. Hey, why is this happening? What is this telling me? Right? But if it's something that's like, I really find enjoyment with this, whether it's with your kids or whatever, just start to really pay attention to the stuff that brings you joy.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have to do a bunch of decision making. You can literally flow. The other thing that's really, really important is to sit down and be real with yourself and figure out what you want, where you're going. Go over this all the time so that you are constantly in a path of where you want to go, and fine tune it as you go. Have fun with it.
Right. You know, I literally feel like what Ashley was saying, you can't see it, but you know it's there. It's like the spirit, you know it's there. You can't see it, but you believe it. You can't see it, but you trust in it. And I think that's just it. Trust in the process and you'll get there. Right?
When you surrender, it will be powerful.
Right.
Remember
Vanita,
that word, surrender.
that's it. Vanita,
Surrender to the process.
That's hard for me to do.
It will teach you. Of course it is. It's hard for more than just you, for more people than just you.
everybody.
It's like everybody in this room is finding that difficult on the daily, on the hourly, on the minutes. Let's just be honest.
I
And
mean,
you know
it's
what?
like
It's
such a
perfect.
vulnerable place, right? to be. And even in, like, I am finding that I'm searching for my alone time. I'm finding literally that, like what you were saying to Shannon a minute ago about, you know, having Shannon time. I'm finding that Vanita is finding who she truly is without all the titles and what that looks like. And sometimes I'm a ball of emotions trying to figure it out. Like, who the heck am I? Where am I going? What am I doing? What's happening? You know?
Those are clues.
Yes.
Those
What do
are
you mean?
clues. When you get a trigger moment, something that makes you cry, something that triggers you emotionally, that's a clue as to something in your soul that's looking to be looked at, nurtured, healed, right? Most people are uncomfortable with that and want to turn away from it. You're like, no, I'm fine.
They
I'm fine.
avoid it.
Okay.
They
Right?
avoid it.
They avoid it. Yeah.
Right? You're paying attention to it, what you say.
Yeah.
It's a gift.
We
Sorry,
talk
Thomas, go ahead.
we talk about source energy within here all the time. When I talk about the source energy and the higher vibrations and getting on your vibration disc, that vortex, that energy of, that's what we're talking about, the higher energies. Your source energy is with you and around you at all times, every shape, form, or fashion. They are always in a happy mode. They don't know anything about your anxiety. They don't know anything about your depression. They don't know anything about this except your happiness. And when you get in that happy state and you're released all the anxiety and the self-doubt and the fear, and it's like, okay, I found me in my life and what I want to do, then guess what? They're going to connect with you and send you different energy waves of different shapes, forms, and fashions to let you know what you don't want within your life. And they're going to actually kind of send you some stuff when you have high energies called the abundance of stuff that you want, the abundance of stuff that's sitting in that vortex that you reached into. A while ago, I had talked about the bathtub, and you just got out of a hot sauna, and that bathtub is nothing but cold water. And it's, I mean, ice cold. That's the vortex sometimes. It's the high energy and the vibrations that run around you send a cold energy through you that keeps those hair bumps up on your arms at the time frames that we're talking like right now, because the energy's flowing through you, sending you energies of waves of creation, because that's what you came here to do. You came here to create your energies, your vibrations, not others. And you have been living your life for your children, your mother, your husband, and everybody else but Vanita. And now Vanita is starting to break out within Vanita and starting to understand some of the things that she is grasping, along with Shannon, breaking some of the onion layers that you have been dealing with of everybody else's BS situations. I can't handle this. Mom, help me with this. Mom, bring me there. Can you get me this? Oh, I need help. Can you bring me to the hospital? I don't know what's going on. The feelings and the emotions that are piling upon you are now starting to unfold, saying, I see what y'all are talking about. I see what y'all are now talking about with this source energy. Abraham Hicks is a very powerful source. I've been listening to them since the 80s. So these people have brought this energy to me for me to have the understanding of my vortex, my energy source, my vibration, my universe, my happiness, my aura, my energies that I put off, the negativities of others that I can now feel that I don't know, well, that I know that I don't have to handle. I don't have to deal with. If I want something within my life, I go out and hustle and I put my energies towards it and put my vibrations and focus and my thought process a little bit better in tune to it, because that's my alignment, because I have already figured out exactly what's going to make me happy at the end. And I'm having the happiness of the unfolding, as we talk about each day, of the journey of that you're manifesting. The journey.
Can I say something really, really quick?
Go ahead.
You're going to notice, and this is what Jang said to me when I first met him, that you notice people right away who are working on their mindset. And I hate to say it, and this is just the way I am. There's people in this room, and there's people in my team, and there's people watching this on the replay, that you can walk up to them, talk to them for about 3 minutes, and know that if they're working on themselves or not. And what I can suggest is do it. If you can make a live event, like some of us, the reason we're moving and shifting our life so much is because we went to events like Rise. We went to events like Awaken. We made it happen. It was a struggle for a lot of us to do it, but we made it happen. And that's what really helps. And it really helps with your mindset. One of the things that, looking at this is a fun exercise. It's not, but it's reality. If you look back on your life and sit down sometime during the weekend and look at all the things that happened in your life and look at all the things that went wrong, right? And sit there and look at it. And then think about it and be honest with yourself and be like, when was that red flag? When was that time I could have said no? When was that time I could have walked away from that? Go through that. Be real with yourself. Cry, be vulnerable. And then going forward, you're going to pay attention to that shit. And it's going to be like, oh, hey, this is telling me something here. Or, ooh, this is a similar situation, right? Pay attention to that stuff. Sorry, Thomas. It's just, I know that it's so important, especially with all the events coming up. Make it happen, because it's good for you to start to unravel yourself. The onion, as Thomas said. Yeah. I'll shut up.
We do it in here each day, and we keep bringing it out each day, and we keep talking about the source energies, and we keep talking about the vibrations. We keep talking about high energies. We've been doing this for over a year, and this is practices that we have done, put habits into our life, because that's what we have been listening to, and we understand now that there is a higher power. Yes, people believe in God, and some call it universe, some call it Buddha, some call it, the trees, some call it the energies from Mother Earth, some call it just the energies of life. We are here to create 400 million people that we fought to get in here to create. To get into your mother's womb, you was fighting to get there to create. You are here now to create. You are the energy. You are the vibration. You are the one that has come here to co-create with others, but yet you have your universe of your creativity, of your ideas, of your thought processes that make you happy and bring your physical body to the places that you want it to be and you want it to go. Do we all want to be in the same place at the same time? Every once in a while, but I promise you all those energies will not stay in that same vibration very long. A 3-day event, a 5-day event, and then everybody's bouncing back to what? Their vibrations, their energies, their thought processes, their journeys. Jen is fixing to get an RV and start traveling around the countryside now, because that's what she is desiring now. She is getting her ducks in a row to make that happen. Shannon wanted to move from New York to Tennessee. She put her ducks in a row and her alignment, her focus, and she made that happen. Ashley had a re-venture all last year within her life, and she has made different things and things happen within her life that is making her fall back into her vibration, her energy that is flowing along. We talk about this every day, of the energies, the vibrations, the vortex. What are you putting to it? Your source energy is waiting for you to give you something for them to go after, to create for you, to bring you in that right place at that right time. And then you might be driving down the road and all of a sudden you say, oh, I usually go right, but today I'm going to go left, like Ashley said. She said that the other day. There was a gut feeling that made her, hey, I'm going to go left today. Well, let's see where it's going. And she flowed that way, even though she knows the path is still going to lead her to where she was ending, but she may have learned something new. Her travels that they went on the camping trip, that got diverted. And then now the different energies that they were able to bring because of what they put out So the energies that you put out from you every day is the energies that are going to flow to others around you. Keep the high vibration. Keep listening to that book. Go to their actual website. Register and subscribe for that one. Great information within that page. Gaia is another one that I like to listen to. Has some great information within there. You know, if you want to talk about the true source energies and the vibrations that are around you, that's what we all are. We are all source energy. We all came in here with it. Nobody's was bigger than anyone else's. Others have just tapped into it a little bit sooner than others. Others are able to harness it and understand it and know that the power that you have within to co-create and manifest things and bring desires and things to where you can have them within your life. We are the generation that has made the most manifested items, I guess you would say, and they're all ending up in the junkyard because it's happening so fast. The true creations are you understanding the process of what you have, the power, the abundance that you have that doesn't have to be a material object of any shape, form, or fashion. It's the happiness within you. That energy is the most best abundance that you will ever have. And once you tap into that, nothing will ever matter else. Except you know that you are full of love and you are full of happiness and joy. Go ahead, Vanita. And then Ashley wants to step in.
Okay. Yes. Yes, you're absolutely right. I want to, I've been really thinking about this since all this stuff. You know how I was in the beginning. I was like, what are they talking about? But as I've listened and I've learned and I've applied, I'm so interested in reading about, okay, where's this from? How does this work? And what I want to do is the Reiki. Am I saying that right? Reiki. I want to go find someone who can do that with me, and I want to do that. I want to clear all the chakras, and I'm sure we have somewhere in Seattle to do that, but I want to do that.
Ask for recommendations first.
Yes.
Yeah, I need recommendations. I don't want to just go to somebody willy-nilly and then mess me up.
They can never mess you up. But anyway, because it's your energies, all they're doing
is
okay. Release different energies that are knotted up in different places within inside of your body, and they're helping you to release that. That's all that is. So that is awesome. So Ashley, you had something else?
Go ahead, Ash.
Yeah, I just I really quickly wanted to touch on an idea that, like, just how powerful we are. Okay, so I want to put it into a percentage. I want you guys to picture that sitting still inside your house, you can do 80% of the work, or even 90% of the work from right here, sitting still. Getting in line with yourself is your only job. Getting your energy in line is your only job, and maintaining it so that when you go out into the world with the other 10%, the right people, the right places, when you trust all of those, turn left, don't go here, do this, don't do that. When you're in the flow and you're in alignment, that will happen. That 10% of the time will be perfectly aligned with everything because you took the 90% to focus on here, right? But what's happening in the world right now, not with everybody, but with most, is that they're so distracted thinking they have to go get it, work harder, grind, push, do the work, physical labor, work overtime, double time, 3 jobs, that they're going out 90% of the time and pushing and barely taking, let's say, 5% of the time to work on this and to be in alignment with all of the energies, with their self, right? So it's flipped. And we really believe, because we're physical, we believe we got to go out and work. We got to do the hustle. We got to do the grind. We got to physically make it happen. Nothing could be farther from the truth. It is an illusion, guys. It's an illusion. I know it can be hard to get your mind wrapped around that, but it's true. The work is the energy work. That is it. That is your only job. Because when you are right in your energy and when you are aligned, everything will already be lined up for you before you walk out that door. I promise you. But again, it's trusting in the process, and back to the word surrender. When you surrender, there will be no resistance. And it's just practice. And it's just to keep going and keep learning. But that is how it is. Remember that.
I think that's 100% right. Well, I know that's 100% right on. And when you say surrender, you know, I have in my life and my experiences, surrender is something I need to work on, because I worked so hard at defense and protect. And, you know, I wrote this poem once called Still Walls. And I worked so hard at that. Right. So what I basically did was imprison myself. So now it's working on getting all those energies, and I'm doing a good job. I have more work to do, and I'll get there. I'll definitely get there. Thanks, guys. Good
Can I
input.
give you a little recommendation?
Uh-huh.
If you can find, so the groups are great, like in a group environment, but if you can find people that you really trust and you really resonate with on more of like a one-on-one environment, similar to this, but maybe even a little bit more, like Rod and Nadine. That's what I love about doing deep dives.
I love them. Yeah.
Is because they get right into the center of your life,
Yes.
your soul, right? If you can get yourself into an environment like that, where you're starting to work on Vanita's specific blockages, that's what will be life transforming for you. Group environments are great,
Right.
but they still allow you
They're
to
not
have
right
this,
here.
they
Yeah.
still allow you to hide behind the identities that have been protecting you, right? When you're stripped down and you're vulnerable in an environment, and you can get to Vanita's specific root experiences from childhood or from your past or whatever, and you break down those barriers, right? I know it's uncomfortable as hell. Trust me.
Yeah.
You know, everybody who's
No.
been through it knows.
Jen said
That's
I
what
needed
it
to do an exorcism on myself.
Yeah. And that's what it takes. And that's when you'll
It's
start.
true though. It's
Yeah.
true, right,
Right.
Ashley? Is it not like a
But
lot
where do
of
you find that?
body
it's
vomit?
like-
Yeah, it's crazy. Like I
I
remember
don't-
sitting in that chair in front of 3 of them who can see everything. They're all
They
psychic.
can see you. They can see you
See your
sweating,
thoughts.
crying, sweating, smelling, farting. It's all real, right? But it all comes out of you, and it's good. It's a
really
good
good.
thing.
I need that. So like, I'm not, okay, so I'm stumbling over my words because it's like, vulnerability. I don't trust anybody.
No, nobody does, Vanita. You got to remember that most
Right.
people are like hard shelled. Get the hell away from me. Even at Awaken, right? When I was volunteering at Awaken, people are like, "What am I getting myself into?" I'm like, "Just trust me and trust yourself, and everything's gonna be a-okay." And they're all like, "You better be blah blah blah," you know, like giving me a hard time about this.
Right,
and I'm like,
right.
seriously. Just why don't you trust yourself that you're going into a safe place, and you know what? It's okay. It's okay to be like that. And once you're so many people, and I know so many men, let's
Right.
just admit it, ladies. How
Right.
many of us know these hard-headed men that are all like, my mindset's good, shit's
Yeah.
in check, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
They're not. And when you're able to be real like that, that's when the real magic happens.
I was really in the group with Nadine in the 30 Days to Abundance. Wow. I was really I was at peace. There was trust there. Well, definitely vulnerability and surrender, right? I mean, Ashley, you were in a couple of those sessions with us, and it was amazing. Some breakthroughs and some deep shit, right? But I don't know why I trusted that process versus out here. Like I don't deal with people out
Just
here.
it's just what you resonate with. You resonated, you felt safe in the space.
I
right?
absolutely did.
And they are very good. I'll tell you, I've worked with a lot of people. They are very good at holding that space. Very good.
Yeah.
Like, so just one
Good
thing I
stuff.
want to touch on, because I just saw it again,
What's that?
is that, see, it came back to when you said, I don't trust anybody, right? And like Jen was mentioning, there's a whole bunch of other people that are in that same situation as well too. The key, so in a group environment, we're here talking about it and we're explaining it and we're, all of that. But when you're in a one-on-one, you go right back to the experience in your childhood that happened where that trust, that lack of trust started. That's what it takes to do the unblocking, is going back to all of the things that were there that created it, right? So group environments are great, but if you can get with somebody that's going to do a one-on-one or is going to take the time to actually travel you back there, but don't just let anybody travel you back there, because you have to go back with somebody specific who can also make sure that you're closing the loop as well too, right?
The gap.
Yeah.
Closing
The gap. Yeah. It's a good way to say it.
You've been having your hand up, Crystal. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
I actually forgot what I was going to say.
Okay.
I've just been listening, but all of this stuff, it's like, it's hitting home for me too. There's lots that Vanita was saying when she was trying to explain herself on how she's to think and where she's to think. And, like this is over here. And I struggled with that too. I was like, am I doing this right? Am I aligning right? Am I envisioning right? Always questioning what I was doing, especially right in the beginning, because it was a whole new world for me. And the first clue to me that I was like, okay, this shit works. This stuff works. This really, like if you put yourself in the right frame of mind. And it was that morning, and I've told you guys this story before, Ashley, you may not have heard it, but I woke up one morning, it was 2-3 days after payday, and we had 12 cents in our bank account. Thank God it wasn't the payday to pay rent, but we had 12 cents. We're a family of 5. We had a couple weeks of events planned, and planning events is a whole nother topic. It gives me anxiety now, and I've been backing out and canceling and whatever, but we had all this planned, and I was like, 12 cents. How are we going to eat? And instantly all these negative thoughts just bombarded my mind. And it was literally a couple minutes after waking up one morning. And I was just like, I could feel everything in me start to vibrate, and not a healthy vibrate. And typical me response to those kind of situations, because I've always panicked over money, is I would get mad. I would place blame on everybody else. It's, well, you did this and you did that and you went golfing with your buddies, and instead of spending only $40 for the golf round and maybe 2-3 beers, you had to go and spend $200-300 and blah blah. Like it was always pointing that finger and placing that blame. And then that morning when that woke up, I started doing that, and I started getting mad. I started making everybody else at fault when it really wasn't my husband. It wasn't me in that situation. It was a bill that came out too early. It was an error, but it was something that couldn't be fixed. So I spent maybe a minute starting down my regular path of anger and things like that. And then I said, no, I'm learning not to do this. I'm just going to let it be. I'm just going to, okay. I laid back down. I put my phone down. I rolled over and I said to my husband, what the F ever? Whatever will be, will be. You go have a good day, and I'm not going to get mad because it's not your fault. It's not my fault. And boom, that was it. And I just let it go. And I literally felt myself that problem just floated off. 4 days later, my husband won a 5-figure 50-50 draw, and it just floored me. Because after that point of that thought letting go, the memory came back into me, and I was just like, it's okay. We're doing okay. The next day we found $50. We were able to buy some groceries. So at that point, I was in that 30 days to abundance with Nadine and Rod. And I said, thank you for the abundance. And I did eventually say thank you for that bill, because it's paid, it's now off our shoulders, and just learning to be thankful even for the hard times, you know. And yeah, 4 days later we won this money. And at first I remember telling Thomas, my husband texted me because he was in another city when he won, and he was like, I just won $15,000. Oh, shut up, you're drunk. Don't lie. And I was like in denial so many times, you know, until he sent me a picture of the check with his name. And I was like, oh my God, you know. It was amazing. And then I had a bit of a revelation. There's like, this works. This works. And I barely had to put any thought into it. So I was always dwelling on, am I doing this right? You know, always second guessing my actions and not trusting my feelings. And me being a very emotional person, like unreal emotional person. It's something like, just even saying that, I'm starting to tear up. It really felt good to have that wholeness feeling inside of me, you know. And so I've come to kind of realize, and I still fall back, and I'm guilty of still thinking too much into things, because bit of background, as a single mom, I was pregnant at 17, had her at 18. I was on my own for the first 5 years. I always had a plan B. I always had a backup plan. I always had a what if, and I always dwelled on that because it had always happened. You know, I didn't make the right choices and this and that, and I always needed that backup plan. And I can honestly say, for the first time in my life, I don't have or feel the need to have a plan B. Even though I'm going through some stuff, I'm listening to what y'all are saying, and I'm just like, when those negative thoughts come in, it's like, it's okay. You acknowledge that thought, and then you release it. And you just work on being like, let it be, you know, like make the positive steps towards and things like that. And I think, honestly, knowing as much as I know, I feel like I should have my life together. I feel like I shouldn't be so questionable or wishy-washy or whatever. But it's still breaking that pattern. Me, for 37 years, I've been thinking like this, feeling like this, acting like this, you know? And so it's definitely a struggle. But to, like you said, get out of your mind and get in your heart. And so I'm trying to hone in on those emotions a little better, but I don't know if it's, and maybe you guys can answer, but like when I watch something and I can go in on a show and it had been running for 45 minutes and I can watch 2 minutes of it and I'm bawling. It's like their emotions just go right into me and I can feel it. And over the last few years, I realized that that's an empathic thing. And I didn't realize that that's what I was. And I wasn't understanding. I thought it was like, I didn't even know what it was. But it's now trying, I feel like I maybe need to hone that more. Like, is it okay to let it go? Or I don't know. But I think being less in your head has really helped me. So that might help you, Vanita, to not question things so much. And just like you said, you acknowledge it, you know, you realize it. And then now just kind of letting it go and letting it be. And I did that Thursday. I was going to give my notice at work on Thursday. I got to work. My anxiety was skyrocketed. My heart was pounding so fast. I was sweating. And I hadn't even seen a coworker yet. I'm just walking in the front door. And then I saw my boss, and my patient was already here, and it's a little kid, and I had to do fillings on him. And I was like, now is not the time. Now is not the time. My boss ended up leaving for the rest of the day. And I just like, okay. And I was able to calm down right after that. And then yesterday, at the end of the day, I was like, oh, before you leave, I'd just like to have a chat with you. I had zero anxiety. I was just like, yeah, we're going to talk. It's okay. And then she had to go in and do a checkup. And then she was coming into my room to talk to me. And when I was in my room by myself, I was like, I literally pulled out the little hand mirror we give the patients. And I was like, I love you. You deserve this. You got this. You know, and I was like sternly affirming to myself, you got this. And my anxiety was maybe a 2 out of 10, which it normally would have been 10 out of 10. I was able to keep my composure. My voice didn't crack or quiver or wave. My hands were shaking a little bit, but I kept it short, sweet, to the point. And I almost got upset after, because her response was, okay. And it almost hurt me. But I was like, that just reaffirmed why I'm leaving. After 6 years of me bending over backwards, she was like, okay. And I was like, I'm doing the right thing. And as soon as she left, I literally patted myself on the back. And then I walked out and I went into my car and I hopped on a private women's group because I didn't want to do this to my public group yet. But I hopped on that group and I just started celebrating. So, yeah, I just wanted to
Ashley, you had something on that?
Well, when you were talking about the empathy thing, because you were talking about all the emotion and you said, is it okay to let it go? It's 100% okay to let it go. I would encourage you to look at the fact that it might not just all be empathy, but it could actually be triggering, right? Things inside of you that still want to be healed. I think there's still like some scars and wounds there from the past. So just in that moment when you said it, just be careful that you don't label it as, oh, well, I'm an empath. This is other people's stuff I'm taking on. Do you see? So you're actually, there it is again. It's easier to put it on somebody else and have somebody else be responsible for those emotions than to be aware that and own them, that they're actually ours. I'm still hurting. I'm still sad. There's still a little girl that's feeling like they need to be nurtured in there or wants to be seen, right? So it's just a way that you can put a Band-Aid on it still. So just be cautious of that because it popped up for me when you said it.
I definitely agree. I know that I did go and start some one-on-one counseling. And here
Careful with that.
they give you
Yeah, no kidding.
yeah.
Be careful with that.
Counselors.
Be very careful. Be careful with prescriptions too. They're good for those.
No, I'm not really one for that, but like,
You don't need it. You got Ashley and Thomas and us on the morning motivation. You don't need counseling. I'm serious.
when I walked into
Yeah.
that room, she had me, I walked in and on her windowsill was a water bottle that said rise, and something in me just lit up. And I felt like I needed to.
That's
be
a
in
sign
that place.
to tell you to get the hell out of there and just get back into Rise Community, which is right here with you.
Absolutely. And that's
There's your
so
sign.
But she sat down and we started that appointment off by meditating, grounding ourselves. And she really just said, feel yourself, you know? And as I was talking and just kind of sharing whatever was popping up in my mind, and she felt me getting heightened and my energy starting to peak, she would take this huge, deep breath in and deep breath out. And boom, I just, like, I could feel her doing that. And then I stopped and I was like, I just saw what you did. I felt so in line with that woman, and her and I, you know, like it was a good counseling. I have been to somebody in the past where I didn't resonate and I never went back. So I felt like she was good, and she did a lot of the stuff that we're talking about. The stuff that her and I talked about, I heard Nadine and Rod mention as well. So I do feel like she was definitely a helper for me.
Yeah. Get to an event. Seriously. Because we learned how to do a lot of that with Rod Nadine and as a group, and we got our own network of people that went to the event, right? So we're all close knit that kind of way. So yeah, you learn how to do that stuff on demand, and it's so powerful, right? It's really, really cool.
Yeah, well, and that's why I was like, okay, do I have to do Awaken before I do Illuminate? And you know, I didn't know if
it's whatever you feel like you need to resonate with. It was like, this is what happened when I was at Awaken, I think it was. Jang was there, and it happened to be the same weekend AI event, right? The next event for Awaken was the same weekend as AI. And I'm like, geez, you know, I got a lot of team going to AI. Like, you know, do I need to really go to the AI Gaz event? Not really. I mean, I've been to a few events, I get it, but that, you know, your team and stuff. And Jang, he's like, go with what you resonate with. There's always going to be other events, right? Illuminate, like, Rod and Nadine are our community. You see so many of our community there. You're going to see so many of our community, right? Like if that's important to you, to get the social proof, to have the community support, to build network within Rise, to have Rod and Nadine, like they're really good. The stuff they did was really powerful. You can obviously see it in a lot of us. Awaken is a totally different event, but I would say try and get to both of them, but whatever you feel is most important to you.
And when I was asking that question,
look at how much you're paying for counseling, right?
It's zero.
There's none
zero.
of us. Okay, but like you're getting outside counseling, but there's none of us, I don't think. Maybe there is, but most of us are using like the community as our masterminding as our 5 pillars, as Cam would say, is our counseling, is our community. It's so crazy. We need to start charging, guys. We really need to we need to get this stuff like on the road. We'll all have a piece.
I just want the therapist in the room just wants to say, that's what we're doing in here. I love Thomas' expression. He's like, duh.
Thomas's morning motivation was taken over by us. All of us women.
You were talking about this stuff. I'm so analytical, and the whole feeling, I thought, why everything that we're talking about, and it just came to me, Vanita, you've been doing this stuff, calling it something different for years, like seeing into other people's lives and seeing different things. And in my space, we call it prophesying into the lives of others, or speaking words of wisdom and knowledge into other people's lives. And while you guys were talking, I was just like, I get it. We're just using different terminology. So ding, 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 ding. But it's that analytical. I'm so analytical that I had to take algebra like 5 times because my analytical mind wanted to know why. And they said, because it just is. And I'm like, no, I need to break this formula down and know the whys behind it. And there was no whys. So I took calculus and I got an A. So they go figure, right? But it's just that. But thank you for your input, guys. Ding, ding, ding. The light's on. I feel so like,
So Vanita, for you, if you're a person that needs to know why, and how it works, then you need to, you don't need to, it may be helpful for you to look and read about quantum physics. Because if
it's funny that you say that,
mm-hmm.
because the other day I said to myself, you need to read on that. You need to learn about that. And then my other brain said, but you're not going to understand the terminology that they're using. So
I think, Vanita, I think Ashley St. Germain has a book recommendation for you, maybe even on quantum. Like you should read it.
Happy Pocket Full of Money? Is that the one you're thinking of?
Yeah, that one. There was, and then what was the one from the Rise event? I got it somewhere. It was a good one. Not Rise really. Event? Yeah, the Illuminate event. Remember the one we got?
Joe Dispenza.
Yeah, that one. The Breakthrough, or it's purple.
Breaking the habit of being yourself. Breaking the habit of being yourself.
I think that was the one. That was a good one.
Yeah, it was a really good one.
But if you go even in Rise Files, guys, there's like all these audio books. Like there's so many audio, but you got to listen for like 10 seconds or something. But there's a whole bunch of them.
I want to listen to the quantum physics one. Is there one on quantum physics?
Well, quantum physics, it's just like people that are like, you want to understand the energy, right? You want somebody to break down why the energy, if your brain really needs to understand it from a science perspective, then quantum physics as a whole is where you may want to start looking. And when Thomas mentioned Gaia, you can get a trial for 2 weeks. You can get a trial for 99 cents. Gaia is Netflix with over
Oh, interesting.
8,000 titles, but it's all focused around like higher levels of consciousness, fifth dimension, quantum
I've
physics, like
seen that.
bigger ideas. So if you want to take the trial for 2 weeks, there is a ton of Joe Dispenza. Write down that name, Joe Dispenza.
I love Joe. I have several of his books.
Yeah. So he focuses a lot around the
Thomas.
quantum physics. Yeah. So
Thank
it's
you.
not going to be for everybody because some people don't care to go into that explanation side of the quantum physics, right? But if your brain, like you're saying, that may be what it takes to wrap your mind around.
Yeah.
Happy Pocket Full of Money also is a very light way of learning without all the without all the really technical terms.
Right.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah, I
little bit.
started listening to that twice.
You what? Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I started to listen to that twice. I think I got to chapter 3 each time, and then I'm like, oh, okay. What the hell? What's he talking about?
Are you distracted when you're listening
Yes,
to it?
I am. I'm driving. And I need to sit down and listen to it.
Yeah,
So
you
I can
need
take
to
notes.
you need to like just start small, Vanita. Bite a little piece of the cookie. Just even read like a page a day, or just listen to like one chapter. But
Okay.
just center yourself, and so that you're not driving around and like distracted. And just do it for like 5 minutes. Just get through it like page by page. Yeah.
Yeah, 5
need to
minutes of
chill.
focus
Even
is better
5
than
minutes.
an hour of not focus.
Where we started with you 2.5, almost 3 years ago, Vanita, you were majorly distracted with the kids, grandkids, mothers, book dissertation you're writing, editing, this, that, and the other, and your distractions have been there. You just said it a while ago. You are finally now getting your energies to where Vanita can sit down for a moment with Vanita.
Yeah.
Not with anything else, distraction of talking with you. But you and your energies, your vibration, now you can sit down and start focusing on the things that we have been talking about for 3 years. The vibration, the daily vortex, all of this has been something that we've been working on and passing out this energies and this knowledge and everything for 3 years now. And now you're just now grasping it and understanding that we have been talking different perspectives and different words of bringing it out for 3 years. Because I can say one thing today, and then Julio can turn right back around within the next 5 minutes and say the same thing, just in a different form that you was able to understand because of your knowledge of what you did have. Now you're opening up to a new knowledge of a new teaching with Abraham Hicks, a new energy, a new vibration. A Joe Dispenza has that energy and vibration. He talks about it all the time, breaks it down into a different form the way he brings it out than Abraham. Same thing with a lot of different other teachings, like Jim Rohn, like Tony Robbins. All of them talk a law of attraction and energy and a vibration and how you project out what you're wanting, but they put their spin to it. What have we done in Here in Life Motivation? We've put our spin to it. We've put our energy. We've put our way of, talking about the higher vibrations and how you can get there. Some grasp it in different ways and actually go with it and flow with it and understand it and understand that, yes, there is a life that we have to rewire because the age that you're at now, it took all these years to get you to the thought process where you're at now. And now we're having to do a little bit of shift each day to rewire your brain to an understanding of the higher powers that you've been believing in. We've just been calling it something different. You may call it God. We call it universe. You may call it Buddha. We call it something else, whatever it is. But I call it a source energy, a higher power that I know that flows in each and every one of us. And that's what I talk about each day. That higher energy, that direction of what you want your life to be, where you want it to go. Because I'm not here to live yours. I'm not telling you how to live your life. I'm just telling you a different way of putting energy and harnessing the energy you already have that Ashley talked about. Harnessing that energy, that vibration. When you start to grasp it and understand it and you get into a meditative state and no other energies are around you or can disturb you for that moment, whether it's for 5 minutes, 15 minutes, or 30 minutes, whatever you decide to get in that time frame, that you start to do that 90% of work to design your day, to design your vacation, to design your life. When you can sit in there in that state and you start designing that 90%, all you have to do is go out there and enjoy the 10%. because you know it is going to flow. You know it is going to be happiness. You know you're in the right place at the right time. You know, and you're going to connect with the right people to build a beautiful community like we did right here every morning, 7 days a week. To be able to see the beautiful faces and the energies and to share this. This was a idea that morphed into so much more. And it's an idea that is coming back together with the energies again to be able to bring so much more, because we have got more in tune with what we're doing, more in tune with where we want this to go, more in tune to see y'all's success go to the next level, because the energies y'all are putting out to you now, and understanding your flow of your universe, your bubble is yours, and you don't have to take on everyone else's anymore. To be that taxi mom, to be that, let's go get, bring me over here, bring me over there, fix this for me, do this for me. I can't do that. You fix, I can't. Yes, you can. Because you are going to let them now do it themselves. Giving the energies to you, because that's where it's been needing to go for a long time. I tapped into my energies a long time ago, and I've been able to rock out this life and have a beautiful journey along the way. To be able to meet and co-create with people all across this world the way I have for many years. And to be able to come in here and now starting to see the enlightenment that is happening with the light that is starting to shine with others, with the places where y'all are going and what y'all are doing within your life. This is what it's all about for me on a day-to-day basis, is to be able to see the energies that are projected from just a few words that people are starting to shift their energies and their thought processes. Like Ashley said, you don't have to go at 360 degrees, just 1 degree. 1 degree of a different thought process today will form a new habit to get you into a better alignment. Keep thinking the good thoughts, guys. Great energy today. Benita, thank you for everything that you have brought up, because it's been able to do what we have been able to do with one-on-one people for a long time right here with you. Ashley's been able to bring out a lot of how you can start rethinking, reshaping, thought process. And, it has been able to bring out for others in here as well. And Jen has been able to interject and be able to bring her passion and her energy of what she has learned from the different places that she went as well. The Awaken event, the Activate and Accelerate, those are 3 events of trilogies that we're working on. Illuminate is a whole different event from those 3. So those 3 and the Illuminate, if you want to go to the Illuminate, go. If you want to go to an Awaken event, that's the first start for that trilogy, go. You want,
and it's not like it's ever ending. Like Caitlin told me she spent like $100K or something on personal development. I was like, really? Like, that's crazy. This was like over a course, like, not last year or whatever. This is like over the course of time, and everything added up, right? But like, look at that. Like, that much on personal development. Like, this doesn't end. It's not like you go to Illuminate and Awaken or something and it's done. It's like something you're constantly working on. And I know for a fact that all of us, because we all feel it and people have told me and we all talk about it openly, we struggle with this on the daily. Your mindset can go for like a loop, like anytime, right? So that's why it's so important to work on it, so that you can keep yourself in alignment. When you start to notice yourself drifting a certain way, you can get yourself back in check. It's super important and powerful.
While we're speaking on events, can I just mention something about the industry as a whole? And one of the things that's really great about Todd Campbell and his Awaken event, and Rod Nadine as well too. The industry as a whole really is designed, and they're all operating this way, and they all talk about it openly behind stage, is designed really to keep you dependent on their courses. So a lot of these big names that people are going and spending money with personal development, now I'm not saying that there's no value inside of their courses, but it is known that they keep an open loop with you on purpose, so that you have to come back because you feel good when you're there with them. That's what a lot of psychologists and psychiatrists find out in their practices as well too. That's why a lot of people like Rod and Nadine after 30 years end up going what am I doing? I'm being trained in school to keep this person dependent on me, right? So you'll hear Todd Campbell. I don't know if anybody's heard him talk about the industry and the people that he works with. And I'm not going to name names, but in the personal development sector, they are big names. And he goes on stage after them, before them, with them, and he hears them all talking behind stage. They know what they're doing, right? That's the difference between somebody like Todd Campbell and his Awaken events and his whole trilogy, or Rod Nadine. They are actually teaching people how to do it for themselves, from within themselves, for the rest of their life. They're giving the actual tools for people to heal themselves. That is the difference between events. So just be really careful when you're going to events or signing up for these different course after course after course after course. The reason why people get stuck in that loop is because they become dependent on these different courses and feeling good when they're there, right? So that's why you can see people in the information loop. I even got stuck in the information loop, the personal development loop, right? Now, don't get me wrong, personal development is a lifelong process, but it's like if you're constantly going after this group or that group or this group or that group or that event or this event or that, right? People like Todd Campbell are very powerful. It's just like knowing what you align with, right? He's very powerful because he actually is wanting people to be able to heal themselves. So he's teaching them in a different way.
And it's super important because a lot of our leaders have finished the trilogy with Awaken. I mean, just in looking at the people that are going on to the next one for leadership, it's very, very important to do it. If you're looking at branding outward, you can see like Christopher Celeste, Adam Holland, everybody has their own little genre. Aaron Fraser, Diamond Movement. And you can see how that can really take it off, right? So as leaders and aspiring leaders and people who want to grow, that is definitely a way to go about it. And there is, like she said, there's so many different ways that they keep you dependent, keep you going. And sometimes even the best thing to do for yourself is maybe not to go to an event. Maybe my first year in business, I didn't go to any events. I focused a lot on reading, journaling, that kind of stuff, setting my financial goals. I did really well financially. So you can pick and choose, but like she said, be very careful also about people brainwashing you. I follow Grant Cardone. I bought into the playbook. I have a credit to go to one of his events. Now, Grant Cardone for sales and numbers, man, that guy's good. You want to make money? That's good. But it's a constant loop. It's a constant loop. Supporting Grant, you know, buy this, buy that, buy this, buy that. Eventually, it's like I'm just a Grant follower, lost my own identity. It's up to you what you want to create.
That's why you have seen within here, within what we're doing, the life motivators, the bringing out people that want to speak in here, like Ashley and Crystal and Shannon and Julio and Miss Jen. We don't mind speaking. So what are we building within here in the morning times? We're building leaders within your own self, within your own life, knowing that you have the power within inside of you to be able to take yourself to that next level of what you are wanting to go for. Do we all know what that is? Probably not. But yet we all know that we want to, you know, go something higher than where we're at now. We want to build something bigger than what we're at now. We either want to retire from where we're at and start building our own businesses, or whether it's brick and mortar, the online, or whether you're just starting to do copywriting for other people, that, you know, that type of business, or editing, like Shannon is starting an editing business. You know, whatever it is that you are desiring, that you're going for, believe in it. Leave it within you. I want this. I know I want this, and this is what I desire. So I believe in with it wholeheartedly, and nothing that anybody else says is going to stop me from going towards what I want.
Don't pay attention. You'll hear like a lot of people say that. Don't pay attention to what other people are doing. Just put your stuff out there. You know, if you go and see like, check out what like Alicia Ward is doing, or I check out like what Pete and Bree are doing, or, you know, something. Oh, we got a similar video. I saw Jang and I was like, oh shit, you know, I hope Jang doesn't think I took his video idea, right? You know what I mean by that? Don't pay attention to what anybody else is doing. Don't worry about it. Be your own authentic you. And that's why it's really, really important, because, you know, some people get sucked into that ooh, I should be at this level at this time, or I should do that because this person did this, or, you know, I think I should be like this. No, you should do whatever the hell this resonates with you, what's important to you and what you feel good. And then just roll with that. That's when you're going to start to expand your vision. Even if Thomas and I wanted to go on stage and talk about exactly the same thing, right? That doesn't matter. We could go in different parts of the world and talk about exactly the same thing. You know what I mean by that? So just be true to your own vision.
Go ahead, Vanita.
I was going to say that you're definitely right about the whole loop and the upselling. And one of the things I try to do in my practice is not make them dependent on me, because to be honest, I don't want to sit and hear about your problem week after week after month, and I'm giving you the same advice and you're not using it, and it's you're still in the same rut. You know what I mean? What I try to do with people that come in to see me is help them to see their own power. You know, give them their power,
their inner shine.
Yeah, you know, so that they don't have to come and talk to me, and they don't. I mean, they can come and talk to me if they want to, but they don't have to come and talk to me because, you know, I've taught the man to fish. I didn't just give him a fish. You know what I mean? And, you know, when today has been really enlightening for me, guys. And thank you, because
it's enlightening for all of us. This is what this is all about, right? On a different level.
It's exactly what it's all about. And like Thomas was saying, you know, I've been in here for 3 years, and the terminology, I mean, it's like just today I'm getting like, well, shit, it's the same thing. It's the same. And now yeah, I'm stoked, guys. You don't even know.
Now go out, take this ball of momentum, and this is the thing, right? We all know this big ball of momentum. Picture it like those big balls that you can get your body in, and it's pushing you down the hill, right? Now you can step aside and watch big ball of momentum go by you and be like, well, that was cool. Wait for the next ball. Or you can stand in front of that ball and let it push you and go out and do something. Even if it's like you go out and do a go live about what we just talked about, just do something to get yourself to that next round. You know what I mean? And you're going to come back, and immediately if your brain's like, oh, I don't want to do this, or I could do this, but I'll do it tomorrow. Just be like, oh, the jump start, the motivation this morning. You know, everybody's rooting for me. You got us all day. I got you guys all day. I know that. I know it. I know you guys got my back.
That's it. And your fan pages that you have built for your businesses. Do the go lives on there. Do the Coffee Chronicles on there. Start attracting people to what you have going on within that page. You know, start doing your affirmations within there. I think you have already on that. But whatever it is, that fan page, put the information, put some stuff out there, put some value of different things that you're doing, you know, that is you, right? So just do you. Ashley, thank you. It's good to see you this morning, for sure.
Bye, guys. Love you all.
Bye, Ash.
Thank you. Love you. Have a good day.
Bye, guys.
Have a good day, guys.
Much love, fam. Much love.